All right, let's give him a few more minutes. It is Fun Friday. What are some fun that we're having in the world of sales and of growth and an ecosystem merging? Who wants to share a story on how they're having fun like we are at the Nerve Center? So who would like to share a story? Go ahead.
I tried getting someone to join last night, but I'm not great at selling this program. But I did get him to give me your number, and I sent it to you, Fernando, actually.
Yes. Yes. Actually, first of all, thank you. Thank you to Alyssa Hargan. Thank you to Craig. Thank you to Liba. I'm so grateful for all the referrals that you're sending our way. Please do so. That is the best way to grow your mastery and to grow unblinded and mastery in this movement. If anyone, please call the office, call Adam, call myself. We'd love to take care of them. Day 31. Sean, you here with us?
Yep. Hey, absolutely. Good morning and happy Valentine. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day to all. You'll have to forgive me. I am a bit fatigued and exhausted as it is 6:30 a.m. here in Sun Valley, Idaho. And I went to sleep less than 3 hours ago. And not because I was out partying and not because I was out partying. So just a few short hours ago, you mentioned the name Craig, Fernando, did you not?
Yes.
So
I mentioned Craig. I was thanking him for sending us a referral. But share what's on your mind.
So here's what Craig was doing a few hours ago. Craig was fulfilling one of his live streams, and we were sitting in a warm spring, natural warm spring, in the water in Idaho, in Tony Robbins' yard, and we were sitting about 5 feet from Tony, amongst a number of people in Platinum Partnership. And Craig was in the process of explaining to Tony the impact and the incredible things he has done in Craig's life, and how it was a dream to even be there and saying hello. And it was not just like, hi, I'm a big fan. Like, it was a conversation and like just chatting. And it was such an unbelievable thing to experience just through the prism of Craig, for starters, because he had just said a short time before that how that was a dream of his, as we were heading to the closing party at Tony Robbins' house and Tony and Sage's house in Sun Valley, Idaho, for the Platinum Partnership financial trip. And I mean, I had my own litany of unbelievable experiences that I am so incredibly grateful for. At the same time, to experience that through the prism of what Craig had just talked about. And when he and Tia, his lovely and beautiful wife, had, chatted about just a couple of years ago, when I guess they had been to UPW, if he ever got the chance to like meet Tony Robbins or sitting there as somebody achieved one of their life dreams, just sitting there was such a beautiful, incredible, and unbelievable moment. And what came up for me was the power of the formula and how people can have such amazing, unbelievable, and incredible things occur in their life. And we've been chatting the last couple of days a bit about Tony Robbins' birthday and coming and getting together in California on February 29th. A gathering we're going to be doing the next morning. Also things that'll be happening related to Beck and Siri and their beautiful event on Sunday evening. And so in support of Tony Robbins' birthday, so this is another aspect of the formula, and I'll talk about a dream for me. So around, let's say 2 hours before, Craig's having that moment, they start playing in the room. There's a tent where the party is. We were, in Tony and Sage's house for a bit. I mean, just spectacular. Doesn't even begin to describe what their home here in Sun Valley was like, or is like. And the song "Simply the Best" by Tina Turner starts playing, and I remember I was feeling incredibly emotional, remembering the feeling of it being 1997 and me having quit my job at a major law firm and having started my own firm on my credit card, $100,000 in debt, And having read Awaken the Giant Within, I was listening to Tony Robbins' 30-day personal power program at that juncture. And I remember thinking, similar to what, Craig was his dream, I remember thinking, if I could ever meet Tony Robbins, what an incredible thing. And his work helped me create so many breakthroughs. I would say predominantly at that point, maybe you've heard me say this before, it was the breakthrough of handling my fear, being petrified of selling, being petrified of having any clue of what to do to build my own business. And so helping control my fear first. Second, teaching me the concept of modeling generally. I didn't have words for it. I've been modeling in different ways in sports and academically, in law school. Now helping me realize that studying the work of others like Jay Abraham, like the book How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking, and so many others, and implementing that material information, which would ultimately lead to the formula. And I remember that feeling in 1997 when I would hear Simply the Best, and I was so scared, so afraid every single day as I was building and growing my own law firm. And I too thought, like, wow, how incredible would it be to someday meet Tony Robbins, or to be doing work in the space of helping people create transformation myself, and what an incredible dream that would be. So last night, as that song was playing and I was sitting in the tent, that was so present for me. And my eyes filled up just with tears and such deep emotion. And a couple of minutes later, Sage's brother, Scott Humphrey, came and grabbed me and said, Sean, like, come on. And he was grabbing me, and there's a tent and there's 400 people. And all of a sudden I'm up on stage with Scott Humphrey. I'm up on this stage with Sage and this awesome platinum partner, Mary Gertz. And we're there and we're talking to Tony Robbins. And Scott is on the microphone first, and he's sharing so eloquently, beautifully from his heart, everything that's going on, related to his feelings about Tony's birthday, the impact that Tony's had on him. And then all of a sudden I'm holding the microphone and I'm talking to Tony Robbins, and I'm sharing the impact he's had on my life. And oh, by the way, an hour before that, I walked into his house and he's like, hey, Sean, and giving me a huge hug. And he's like, hi, Mona, and giving Mona a huge hug. And we're having a conversation, and we're having a meaningful, deep conversation about something relevant and specific. And I'm sitting there talking to him in front of all these people and having the opportunity to thank him for the impact, the insane trajectory shift that he co-created in my life. And then he's up on stage, and Scott is presenting a check for $1.75 million that I had the privilege of being one of the people that helped to co-create in that room just a couple of days before. And the formula was a part of that. And I will say with absolute humility, but I will say factually that number would have been smaller if it wasn't for the formula. And some ideas I had about helping people see what they weren't seeing, about creating emotional, energetic transference in the room to help co-create that. And Scott Humphrey was so beautiful in his recognition of that, and having me up there and that happening. And for those that have been to Tony Robbins' event, there's a song, Bonfire Heart by James Blunt, and I'm standing on stage and with Tony and Sage and Scott and Mary, and then a couple other beautiful, incredible people that were such major contributors, Tony DeGrati, Brian Krause, and the whole room and everybody singing Bonfire Heart, and this is happening. And I was up there just thinking about the huddles and about the program And I was thinking about 22 years ago, and I had tears pouring down my face, thinking, like, this all really works. And we have stories and say things and, you know, watch inspirational movies, but like this, and for so many people, they don't believe anymore. And because there's no formula, they get really deeply excited about dreams and achieving things, and they never come to fruition. And in that moment, the gratitude I felt to God, to people in the program, to the people that are doing what we're doing, Adam, Fernando, Jared, you know, Dorothy, Kelly, and I mean, all the people on the team, you know, Tiffany, Nicole, just Chaz, like everybody, folks at Calgary Law, all of them. I was just sitting there in this overwhelming sense of what's happened, what can happen, and what is happening right now when I'm blinded, because in between saying hello to Tony Robbins and chatting with him, walking into his house, having, you know, that incredible, it wasn't just one song, it was multiple songs on stage, with the whole place going crazy, you know, getting hugs from Tony, you know, having him say, I love you, and him being so deeply emotional and touched, and being in the water with Craig and listening to Craig, you know, be able to extend his gratitude and thanks. I had so many interactions with people about Unblinded and the things that they were saying and the impacts that's having. And to finally, you know, bring this home, that's what's possible for every one of you in your life. And I'm sure you've achieved incredible things already. And each of us has such an incredible capacity to think of, dream of, implement, create in our own lives and the lives of other people. Dreams, magic. And that's what this is about. And it is real. Like, it's not just words when we say it, like, it is real. And I lived it last night, and I live it every day. And I cannot believe it. Nothing is perfect, and there's challenges and issues. And, you know, I'm not always perfectly in the formula, and I'll make mistakes. And, you know, so all of that is real too. And so are moments like last night. And so are things that we can do in the smallest of ways every day to touch lives and to impact people. And I could not be more grateful for what's happening, where things are going. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here on Valentine's Day. And thank you for having dreams. And thank you for loving and caring about your dreams enough to share and co-create and contribute in this ecosystem. So that's what's present for me. What's present for you out there? And please unmute, share, you know, what's present for you, whether it relates in any way to what I just shared from my heart or something completely different for you. You know, what's happening. Fernando, let me jump in and start with you because you don't know any of that story. And what's present for you, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Callaghan.
Please.
Yes, I'm going to be very super short, and I would love to hear the voices that are here. And Sean, I want you to hear from us on this beautiful day. On behalf of everyone, you know, on this call and in this movement, I'm sure they are in their minds, screaming at the top of their lungs. You know, we want you to know that we love you. We're grateful for the work that you're doing. We trust you. We see you. We hear you. We understand your love for humanity, people, God, and we're so grateful to be able to be co-creating, co-authoring this movement with you. Thank you for the work that you're doing for us. And more importantly, thank you for the work that you're doing for humanity. I can sit here in tears at the thoughts of how this feels, and I'm excited to process it all. And it's incredible work. And I cannot say I am shocked. I am definitely excited.
Yeah, and let's be specific too. At least 1,300 lives were saved from sexual slavery because of what 400 incredible people did together in that room 2 days ago and leading all the way up to that moment last night, that's what happened. When an ecosystem comes together in the Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership, and people trust each other, and people work together, in just a half an hour from stage, that galvanized into 1,300 plus lives being saved from trauma, horror, insanity. Like that happened last night. And then cap it with this incredible platinum partner, Christian, as we're riding back, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was about. And he's involved in a variety of different biotech, work and things with stem cell and beyond. And we're talking about my eye condition, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like that'll 5 years, like 5 years max, and it'll be gone." And and he's incredibly successful at what he does, and his certainty of that was just unbelievable. And so like that's capping off. Right? Sit with somebody who's running a company in the space of regenerative medicine, and him saying with absolute certainty, like 5 years from now, that's where it is. And I can't believe what happened. So thank you, Fernando. And, for each, just to, give multiple people opportunities. And I know Peter, who's working with Beck in Syria, we're going to get to him in just a couple moments. Someone hear what's on his heart about that Sunday night after Tony's birthday. And certainly, Tony Robbins will be at the Beck in Syria event as well on the night of March 1st. But before we get to Peter, 30-second bursts of what's present for you. And I heard a number of incredible voices and energy. So who's up first? Who wants to jump in?
This is Ron. May I just jump in here, please?
Please.
Okay, first, I don't even have enough time to acknowledge everything that's going on here, and right now I'm like shaking like a leaf. It's just so much that's going on right now. And yes, acknowledging the unblinded movement, all of you guys, everything, just being in my life, everything is just so unbelievable. I'm still waiting for some breakthroughs and everything, and I have a phone interview in a few minutes. So that's why, I'm like just kind of just trying to get everything out right now. But this morning I was like in the middle of praying and just asking questions too in the middle of that. And I was led to examine something that's happening in my life. And I was like, okay, I wanted to finish praying, but then I guess this is in answer, in the middle of the whole thing. And I was prompted to write down what was coming to me. I didn't even know how it was going to turn out, but I started writing. And a lot of stuff unfolded. It's to me, it's like an outline of a script that is to come out somewhere or the other. And I was just writing everything, and it was like a lot of information. And I ended it by asking, why is it that I'm pursuing so much in my life, and at the same time I'm not seeing the results? And I know for sure, I was reassured that I'm in the right direction. Being a part of this movement, this group, everything, it's a part of the journey. I know that, but it just came out so forcibly this morning in the midst of all of that to say, yes, I'm on the right track. Just keep going. And I'm pursuing some stuff right now. And like I said, I have an interview in a few minutes. But I just want to say that even though I've been silent for a while, I am still here and I'm pursuing something that's going to lead to greatness. I know that. And I want to just say thank you from the depths of my heart. Everyone, every moment is significant. And I just wanted to be heard this morning because I am so grateful. And I know that I will have something more to share later on, sometime later on. But I just want to say I am happy today. I am grateful. And I know that this is taking me somewhere. And I know that I have a lot to contribute. And it will show up in time.
Yeah, Ron, we are not confused, and you've already contributed massively to Unblinded, this movement. Your moment on stage in the January 10, 11, and 12 launch was incredible, powerful, one of the most memorable moments there. First. Second, it's in the formula. So when you have that interview and have that phone call in just a few short minutes, be in the formula, build emotional rapport, elicit pain and yes strategy step 2, convey from your heart your powerful, unique identity, and move into agreement formation and hearing for objections, listening deeply and asking questions. So thank you for sharing this morning. Our hearts and prayers are with you for that call and all the breakthroughs that you're looking for massively. So thank you for that. And happy Valentine's Day. Who's up next?
Thank you so
Hey,
much, guys.
Sean,
Thank you.
it's Tia.
Hey,
Have a blessed
Tia, what's
day.
up?
Sean, thank you for sharing
I'm
that
sorry. I
story.
was like, hanging out in warm springs and hot tubs and cold plunges with your incredible and beautiful husband. And thank you for your support of him. So he has the opportunity to be in such an incredible space. And he was on fire this week. Everywhere people had such an impact on so many lives. So happy Valentine's Day, and what's happening?
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm just hearing it for the first time, so it's awesome to hear it from your perspective. And if I could just add a little layer to what you're saying, the story that you shared about Craig as it relates
By the way,
to everybody
I
here.
have to share this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think it's important that you and everybody knows that the changing rooms got a little bit busy and crazy. So I think Craig was like naked in the general area before he got into the changing room. Lots of other people changing rapidly. I think that actually, somebody's like, I think Craig is like changing right there because people are starting to change. So I don't know that's 100% verified, but you could double check and see if he was also naked at 3 o'clock in the morning, changing in a room with like 200 people. But go ahead.
Fun Friday. Fun Friday.
Fun Friday. Yes.
I want to say 2 things. Firstly, hearing you share about all the things that you're experiencing and seeing your presence, expand in these amazing ecosystems fills my heart with joy, and it feels like it's just right. It feels just like the natural progression, the way that things should be. So I just want to share that with you. And
thank you.
Absolutely, that's 100% from my heart. And I just want to share with everybody here a little bit of a layer to that story about the Platinum Partnership that Sean told. When I had gone to UPW in November of 2018, and I came home and I was like, Craig, we have to join Platinum. And he was like, Tia, you're insane. It's not happening. We don't have the resources. Just forget it. And I'm like, okay. And I, I kept kind of whispering in his ear about it over the next few months, but I understood the idea of proximity. And I saw Sean was somebody that I saw in the Platinum community. So I was connecting to him through his videos that he was putting out on YouTube, different ideas, personal development ideas. And I wanted to just connect with him energetically and hear what he had to say. And I told Craig a couple months later when Craig actually did decide to join Platinum, we pooled all our resources. We made this insane decision. I was like, listen, there's this guy I've been following. His name's Sean Callaghy. You got to talk to him. And I want to say that for everybody here, that's important, because that was a microphone and a stage that Sean took advantage of. And it dramatically impacted the trajectory of our lives, because from that, I told Craig to connect with Sean. I felt his heart from what he was sharing. He genuinely wanted to share. And I felt that from his energy on the videos. And because of that, Craig sought Sean out. And a little Fun Friday memory for all of you, he interrupted a massage that Sean was having. They were at a retreat together with a lot of other Platinum people, and Craig courageously knocked on Sean's door, and Sean was getting a massage. And instead of being like, hey, listen, please come back later, Sean was like, no worries, come in, just talk to me while I'm getting a massage. I would love to help you.
Very interesting.
See, that could also have represented my boundaries not being where they should have been. But I'm happy my boundaries were not where they should have been probably in that moment. But please continue.
Hopefully from here going forward, Sean will.
Yeah. So Tia, I have to just say thank you. And Craig shared his love and gratitude for you and edified you during this week, because he got the microphone with Tony also at one point, which you probably know. And he acknowledged that you were the reason for him joining Platinum Partnership and how unreasonable and crazy he thought it was. And he, from his heart and the depths of his love and gratitude for you, shared all of that as well. So happy Valentine's Day to you, and thank you for sharing.
Happy Valentine's Day. And if I could just leave everybody
please.
off with one thing. So you had given Craig some advice that dramatically changed the trajectory of our lives. Being involved with this formula has dramatically changed the trajectory of our lives. So for anybody that feels like, who am I to share? I just want to know that it wasn't the content that Sean was sharing wasn't like amazing at the time I was hearing it, but I felt his heart. So for anybody here that is thinking, what do I have to share? It's your heart, it's your energy. So please don't rob us of the gift of that for you. And thank you, Sean, for putting yourself out there. I can't ever thank you enough. So happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, thank you. And let me just emphasize what Tia just shared. I realized at one point, I'm like, wow, I was trying to do content and in short bursts, and I did these why not videos a ways back, and they weren't getting much traction. And I realized I was too much in my head. I was too content heavy. What people really wanted was a short burst of exactly what Tia said: heart, share, feel. And all of a sudden, things shifted dramatically once I understood that. So be in your heart, start shooting your videos. There's a stage and a microphone. And on that note, Joan Greco was sitting next to me right before. I had the blessing and privilege of, leading from the stage with a microphone last night. And she was reminding me of one of the first call that she was on related to Unblinded, and when no one was on the call. So I think she said it was October 8th. I think there's a recording of it in the history somewhere. And she was on, and nobody was there. And it was like waiting, pausing, waiting. Nobody was there, and she's like, hang up. And that was her first day, her first huddle and first contact. And then she stayed with it, and things began to accelerate the next day. And I think she said the 9th, there was in her words, incredible, mind-blowing burst of training and content the next morning. But her first day was that. And what has happened just here in such a short period of time is unbelievable, but it's also because of decades of developing, creating, innovating in the formula. So that is present for all of us as well. Who else wants to quick share? Take a couple more.
Sean, it's Craig. Do I need to?
Oh my God, what's up, brother? I didn't even know that you'd be awake or on this. So I didn't know you were hearing all that. What's up, bro?
Myself about the fact that I'm standing in front of a room naked and interrupting your massages. Is that a way?
Yeah. Okay, let's verify. Were you standing naked in front of a room of people last night? Did that happen, or did I get bad information?
I was not standing in front of a room naked, but we definitely were changing in a room, yes, with a lot of people.
Okay, so hold on. So you're changing, but you weren't naked in front of a room full of people.
Yes, Sean, we had towels covering us. But I will make sure to get a video of it next time for you. Don't worry about it.
Okay, what's up, brother?
Everybody, that was awesome. And Tia, thank you so much. It is publicly. I will shout this from the rooftops that it was because of you. It was because of your energy that I took that step forward that time. And it was your quiet little mentions, which were a little bit more than just mentionings, to me to go forward with this. But in the same time, it was an energy to push forward well beyond where I thought my capability was. And it was the best thing I've ever done for myself. This community, this proximity between Platinum Partnership and with Tony Robbins. I was telling people last night that 28 months ago, and I figured this out when you were on the phone yesterday, 28 months ago, Tia and I said, I really hope one day we get to go to a Tony Robbins event. And then 14 months ago, we had both gone to events, and we said, I can't believe it, but I really hope, I can imagine that if we really think about it, if we really put our intention to it, one day we would be able to meet Tony Robbins and we'd be able to thank him for everything he's done for our lives. And I got to stand in front of the room of 500 people and thank him publicly for that. And we've both been blessed to thank him personally and privately for that. And then I said that they both got into the cold showers because of Wim Hof and the breathing and everything. And then we said, I can't believe if one day I'm gonna dunk into one of Tony Robbins' cold plunge pools at one of his houses. I said, one day it's gonna happen. And that day was like yesterday at 3 o'clock in the freaking morning. But then standing there with him and having that moment, watching Sean talk, and here's another little fun that Sean had yesterday. But we were sitting and talking, and people were asking him questions, and they were getting answers. But then Sean asks him these just completely mind-blowing questions that get Tony to just think back about his life and start going deep. And me and Mona looked at him and we were like, Sean, that was just awesome. You asked these great questions. And Sean goes, yes, yeah, so, hey, there's this formula that people have to use. And and it was just so perfect. It was literally just this perfect.
If I could just stay with me, Craig. So literally, I was in the formula, sitting in the hot spring with Tony, and I asked him 3 questions, and we had a conversation. People sitting there, and we built emotional rapport, and we're at where you been, and he so deeply enjoyed sharing in depth where he had been. So a person who is the greatest person in the history of the world in the space of personal development, who talks to humans all the time, who had to be completely exhausted after this entire week and talking to people. And I felt my heart ached for him and what had to be his exhaustion for everything he put out there. And in the formula, he was so passionately sharing a beautiful story. I'll talk more about that on Monday, what that was. And it was in the formula. And that's exactly what was happening. Because this is exactly what this is. And it was hysterical because it was like, yeah, those are great questions. I'm like, it's called the formula. And it was totally authentic from my heart. And they're questions I want to hear answers to. And they're ones that I knew would serve him and allow him to share things I knew would so deeply impact his heart to be able to share, and questions that I knew people would never normally ask him. And it was an incredible and unbelievable moment as well. So Craig, final, because we'll get to one more person. 15 seconds left. Anything else, brother?
That's it. Happy Fun Friday, everybody. Happy Valentine's, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, Tia. I love you. Sean, I love you. I love everybody on this call. I'm so grateful for every one of you. Life is just continuously happening for us, and I love you all.
No, look, Craig, love you too. And I am so proud of you and the way you're stepping up in your leadership, in your communication, in owning yourself, stepping into your greatness, the way that people are interacting with you, your leadership. It was mind-blowing to experience. So thank you for that. So anybody else have anything they would like to share?
Hi, Sean.
Can I share real quick?
I heard a female voice. Wow, I heard a female voice first. Said hi,
sorry,
Sean.
It was Kelly.
Everybody's got something to say. Everybody's got something to say.
Kelly,
sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. As you were ending that, just one thing. Yesterday, I want everybody to know me and Sean were sitting and talking, and somebody over here, and this has nothing to do with me. It was just some guy I happened to connect to, and he hadn't met Sean, but he walked over to our table, and he comes over, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt." And all 3 of us thought he was about to talk to Sean, and he comes over to me and he gives me this hug, and he says, "I love you, brother." And he turns around and he walks away, and Mona gets blown away. She's like, "Usually they're coming to bother Sean." And he didn't even look in Sean's direction. He just said hello to me and he walked away. So that was a lot of fun to watch it happen.
It was an amazing moment, and that absolutely happened.
All right.
Hey, Sean,
happened.
You had asked for Peter to speak. Just want to remind you of that and then pass it over to you.
Can I speak real quick?
Kelly, Peter. Yep, Kelly, go ahead.
Okay, Sean, I will make this very fast. Just want to say that a year ago since I've gotten to know you so much better and gotten more involved in all of the passion that you have, this graceful ability to ripple effect throughout everything that you touch. It's been one of the most fulfilling years of my entire 53 years on this planet. And I'm so grateful for your friendship, and I'm so excited about what's in store from every moment moving forward. So much gratitude. I love you with all my heart.
Yeah, Kelly, love you too, and happy Valentine's Day. And your energy is absolutely mind-boggling and incredible, truly. And you have such a beautiful spirit and such talent and ability. And I am wishing you every accelerant and exponential growth factor imaginable. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have Peter. Peter, what's up, brother? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am on my knees in gratitude. That's where I am. So what's up, brother?
Before I go into the horse side of things, I just wanted to say Unblinded allowed me to actually meet Craig and Tia at the same time. I met them both like half a dozen times separately without knowing their surnames, and never knew they were a couple. And when I saw them at the Unblinded conference in January, I was literally frozen. I didn't know what to do. It was a really funny moment to see them both in the same place at the same time. It was awesome. But
that is awesome.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to talk. It was I'm going to do this in an abridged version because try and be respectful of everyone's time. But for me, it's how the formula has given me the opportunity to help save 200 horses a day. So for anyone that doesn't know, in the United States, 85,000 healthy horses are sent to slaughter every year. And it's a subject that 85% of polled Americans are in favor of ending. And my bridged history is in November 18. I was offered a very.
And by the way, Peter, just everybody, there are virtually no things that 85% of Americans, that high a percentage, agree on. Virtually nothing, and 85% of people agree on this. So back to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's in November 18. I got offered a large set of investment, and as people know, and my daughter ran up and gave me a job, a hug, and that led me to quit my job and close the business down. And I spent a year trying to find myself and explore different avenues, which is where I became aware of Unblinded through Fernando and Darcy from a Tony Robbins event. And I committed to always maintaining, for me, one action on my to-do list every day is always to allow the universe to take me where I should be. And that for me played out so beautifully at Business Mastery when Mona, Sean's gorgeous girlfriend, sent me a text saying, do you want to come and grab a coffee? And I sat at a table, and without knowing it, I was sitting with Rebecca, Beck's series partner, and Maggie, and there was this conversation about this horse gala, and I was totally unaware of the subject, and I was able, through what I do in strategy work, to give some insights and help. And long story short, I ended up becoming involved with the gala and the ongoing actions to try and pass the SAFE Act to stop the slaughter of horses. And for anybody that doesn't know, Beck and Siri are amazing souls. Siri is currently fighting AML and is actually, I believe it's her last day on the ranch today with Beck. Beck did want to be herself today to talk about this, but obviously she wants to spend the day with Siri, completely understandable. So yeah, Siri goes to hospital tomorrow to start the next set of her treatment. And if there's anybody in the world that can beat this, for anybody that knows Siri, they'll agree that it's her. But on the horse gala side of things, what I wanted to say was just make people aware of what's happening. So there's a gala the day after Tony's birthday. There are some seats available left, not many. And every penny of that goes towards helping pass the SAFE Act to stop the slaughter of horses. It's really that simple. It's going to be an amazing event. There's an exclusive performance from Melissa Etheridge. Tony Robbins is there as well, as you mentioned, Sean, and Sean, you're there as well. And it's also worth saying, Sean has already made a massive donation to this, which, I know Beck, Siri, and myself are insanely grateful for. And I know, Sean, you're maybe planning to do some stuff around the event as well for the Unblinded community. So yeah, so there is a gala the day after Tony's birthday. It's about 1 hour's drive away from LA, and perhaps Jared could post the link in the Unblinded group afterwards for how you can book a ticket. And if not, if that's not something you're looking to at the moment, or you're not free that day, we'll be coming back to this group, hopefully, if that's okay, once we've got through the gala, and we're looking for donations. And really, the biggest thing is using the power of merged ecosystems to push awareness of this issue, because whilst 85% of Americans agree with this, it's not a vote winner. And we need senators and congressmen to understand how passionate their communities and their voters are about this issue, because without that, it will never leave the floor and the Senate. Simple as that.
Yeah, Peter, if I could jump in for one moment, please stay with me. So there are massive, incredible causes at play on February 29th, Tony Robbins' birthday, and March 1st, the next day, at Beck and Sirius Gala, which Tony and Sage, as Peter said, Melissa Etheridge, and many other incredible people will be at. And if there is any possibility in the world of you're getting to California for that weekend, I put things out there with great caution in suggesting people take massive action and do things. On these calls, I'm not saying, hey, go to this weekend, jump on airplanes, but the proximity you will gain. Just let's leave aside the good causes, the incredible contribution, and let's focus on you and your acceleration. The proximity you will gain on that night as a part of the Unblinded world on February 29th, Tony's birthday, and the next day, March 1st, at the Beck and Siri event, is beyond comprehension. What is possible? The ecosystems, the people, the conversation, and we are going to do something that Sunday morning. We're still finalizing it, and I believe it's going to include an ecosystem merger morning, like open forum, facilitated an open forum for people to meet, connect, build relationships. And I think, again, this is subject to finalization, I'm going to be doing something on public speaking, a live module on public speaking and exponentially accelerating people's ability to do so. And I'll certainly be talking about videos during that segment as well, and how you can begin filming them and save yourself years in your development and acceleration by how to do that. So that's at play also. So just get yourself there. We have tickets for everybody in the program to Tony Robbins' birthday. We can go to the link that we're going to post that Peter's mentioning about Beck and Siri's event, and we'll also explain how and what that Sunday morning will be. We're finalizing what that plan looks like in a number of different directions. And please remember that we are working fully with Jen Connolly, Tony Robbins' publicist, Sage Robbins, who is just such an incredible soul. I cannot even describe how kind she is to me. Like in their house last night, showing me around, describing what pictures look like that I couldn't see, just literally describing them to me, being so attentive to my visual disabilities. Just an unbelievably beautiful soul who asked for our love, help, and participation in making Tony's birthday everything it can be, in terms of not only raising money for ending sex trafficking or saving people from sex trafficking, but also having people there energetically, massively, to celebrate her incredible husband's life and work. So that's what's happening. And yeah, just get yourself there. Get on a plane, get yourself there. If you're from California, just get there. Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, get there. I say that with all my heart. It is going to be an unbelievable, mind-blowing, life-changing 2 days around some of the most incredible people on the planet. And Peter, anything else you want to share before I kick it to Jared real quick for a wrap-up? By the way, happy Valentine's Day, Peter.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, my Valentine's Day, courtesy of my amazing wife, is deferred by 2 days to allow me to work. So we're doing it on a Sunday. But saying that, I got my first ever Valentine's Day from my card from my daughter today, who's 5, and that just slayed me. that's a real moment. Yeah, the only thing I'd say, Sean, is thank you so much for, you know, helping bring this to everybody. And when we talk about proximity, you know, the gala is a very intimate event. And as both said, Tony is speaking at that event, you know, getting access just to him, let alone everybody else that's there, being in proximity to him in that size of a room is normally a $10,000 plus type affair. So
absolutely.
I would strongly recommend I'm making the trip literally from the UK for it because it's
yeah, brother. I would say it was more typically probably an $85,000 plus proposition. So it is that's a beautiful mention of that access and the level of intimacy that will be at the Beck and Siri Gala. So thank you, brother, and there'll be more to come on that. Jared, a lot is happening on this fun Friday and Valentine's Day. What's up, brother?
What's so fun, Sean, and I say this to you privately and I'll say this publicly, is when Sean says there's a lot going on, he still knows 1% of what's actually going on. So that always excites me because there is a lot going on in what Sean packed in. I'll share a little fun goddess because not everybody sees that side of me, even though there is quite a bit of goddess in me. But 5 years ago, actually 7 years ago now, 7 years ago, on this day, was when I got engaged. And if you do want to see, my wife actually posted it on Facebook because we captured the whole thing on video. So there's a lot of goddess there, and awesome. It's on YouTube, and it went somewhat viral, like millions of views. And the funny part of it all is that there's hundreds and hundreds of haters that were critiquing my style for this. So read the comments if you want a good laugh while you watch the video, because it is absolutely hysterical. But yeah, what's up here? So much fun, so much energy this morning. We, as a team on Unblinded, we had some really good laughs and some firepower. What we said was this, and I'm going to share this with each and every one of you. The greatest way to, in my opinion, to be an example of the indispensable element of love is getting someone to say yes when you know what you're offering is going to create a better outcome for them in their life. When you know they're better with you than without you. That's the greatest thing you can do if you really want to love on somebody. So that's where we're coming from today. On every one of our calls, and there's a ton of calls scheduled today for across everybody on the team, tons. I think today might be the day we have the most calls yet. That's what we're doing. We're leading with love. And the second that we know that that person is better with us than without us, we're going to do everything in our power with love to get them to say yes to joining us in Mastery. So I share that because every one of you are going to have conversations today, and I'm sure that love is going to be on your mind because it's a fun day. This is the norm, even though every day should be a day of love. Today it's really the norm. The second that you feel that, use that love and get them to say yes to whatever it is that you offer this beautiful world. Outside of that, I know tons of you have been calling, emailing, and have questions around how to get your tickets for Tony's birthday and also the event the next day. The second that we know, we will let you know. Tony's team is working hard to find the best way to distribute tickets so that we can then distribute them to you guys. So you'll know early next week, but the actual information for the party can be found at, I'll tell you the website because people are booking flights. It's TonyRobbinsBday.com. TonyRobbinsBday.com. So that's where you can see where the venue is, and then obviously get hotel in proximity of it. We'll be doing an event the next day, but that won't be solidified until Monday or Tuesday of next week. So all the details will come once we have the details to send you. We appreciate your enthusiasm. You're still welcome to call in and ask questions, but I just wanted to give a universal statement as to where we are with this. Back to you, Sean.
Yeah, and for anybody not in the program, you can buy tickets there as well for Tony Robbins' birthday. So if you're not in Mastery, you can buy tickets directly, and please do so. It is going to be an unbelievable night, and get there as well. With all of that said, and thank you, I know there's more voices that want to share. Please hold it till Monday, and be on the lookout. We're going to post some of the videos from last night and share publicly some of those remarkable moments that occurred last night. I cannot more deeply express my gratitude for your time, your love, your attention, your energy. And most importantly, on this day, where there's so many things that you heard about what everybody's up to overall, love your dreams more than anybody else. And don't let me or anybody in this movement love your dreams more than you do. take massive action today in your heart, lead, inspire, connect, make an extraordinary difference in the life of others and in your own life today. Happy Fun Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks. Go get it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Amazing.
This is what it looks
Happy
like.
Valentine's Day. Bye.
Hey, everybody, remember to love yourselves first. That's the best way that you can help love others, is by loving yourself first.
Thank
See
you,
guys.
Sean. Okay, bye.
Much love, everyone.